Welcome to the Driven Agenda podcast, where raw journeys drive ambition and reveal the fuel behind people's success. I'm Shannon Sagan, a personal injury lawyer, entrepreneur, and founder of the Dashcam Lawyer. This podcast is all about being driven, focused, motivated, and determined to reach your goals and setting an agenda that pushes you forward. We bring you insights from top players in business, sports, real estate, investing, health, and more. Here, we dive into what it really takes to thrive with candid conversations that cut through the noise and get to the heart of people's success. We're live on the Driven Agenda podcast. Welcome. I have another good friend of mine. She's actually part family. She is the aunt to my oldest, Avel. And her name is Neyita Fuentes Leiva. For you gringos wondering what I just said, you'll have to figure that out. But she's become a good friend of mine. What, 15 years now? Close?
Close.
Something like that. And great family person. I have her in here because, as you know, I like to talk about entrepreneurs, business owners, and people that are just doing different things in the world, specifically here in Palm Beach County. And she's got a pretty interesting job with some experience as an entrepreneur. So welcome to the podcast. And her son, Tommy, is here. Tommy helps me out at the office, and he is wonderful. He completes anything that I need, and it can be from marketing to you're changing the alarm ring thing the other day because our alarm kept going off. So he's pretty savvy. So Tommy's sitting in, but welcome, my friend. How are you?
Thank you. I am well. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me here,
Absolutely.
Shannon. What an honor.
So Neyita has she's been investing in real estate for a long time now. Pretty decent holdings because she started early. And she also has her own license and permitting company here in Palm Beach County. And what I learned about you is that you started working for the city first. Is that correct?
Yes.
So tell me about that.
So,
which city? West Palm?
City of West Palm.
Okay.
I actually came from the medical legal field. And one day I had just had it and said, I'm going to apply for a city job, government job. And I did. I had no clue what I was getting into.
Why did you leave was it for working for a lawyer?
It was administrative. Well, I did. I dealt a lot with the DPR. Mm-hmm. But I came from the medical. I used to be like a surgical coordinator.
For a doctor?
For an orthopedic surgeon. Okay. And I did that for quite some time.
Was that Quetzal?
Yes. It was actually Penner and Quetzal.
Okay. That's how you know him.
And I put in around 10 years with them. And when I left with them, the partnership dissolved. I left with an attorney. And I did some office work, paralegal work. I took it as far as settling some cases for him. Nice. I did have a passion for it. I did pretty good. And one day I just had it between the medical. The medical I left because it was very frustrating. With all the HMOs that were taking over, you couldn't get authorizations for patients that were dying.
Yep.
And that was pretty heart-wrenching.
What's your, I don't want to get into too much legal, but what was your opinion on the legal angle of it? Did you enjoy that at all? Because when you send me cases every now and then, mm-hmm. and you're very familiar with how cases are run, and sometimes you want to be in the know of what's going on with your friends or family, obviously with their permission, but you know more than the average person. So did you like the legal aspect of it?
I certainly have a passion for it. I love PI. And I could do it with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
It's just something natural. I mean, I went to college and took business law, and I left it.
Right.
I'm not crazy about school. I'm not crazy about books.
I am not either. I've found as I get older, I don't know that degrees are as important as they used to be. I know growing up, parents pushed it. Maybe you kind of push it on your kids still. I don't know, but I I feel like trades can be just important.
Sure.
Look at these AC companies, owners making millions here.
Some of them are not even properly licensed.
Yeah.
They actually pretty much use a qualifier
Right.
to qualify their business. In other words, they don't have the actual state license. They rent one.
Right. Well, my point is degrees, I think, are important for certain things.
Sure.
But I think if you're a hustler and a go-getter and you've got those natural instincts, you may not need to go that route of going to college. I did not know anything other than law. I had no skills and hobbies back then. So I went to law school as kind of a last resort, and that's all I knew. But let's say one of my kids wants to go to trade school. I'm down with that. I'm not going to push
Absolutely.
college as long as it's something they enjoy and they're going to excel at. So let me back up here. You are originally from Cuba?
I am.
Came here when? Grew up in Palm Beach County?
1967. I came from Cuba. I came when I was 4.
How did you get here?
We flew in. I mean, we were claimed by another family member, and they helped us when we got here.
So your parents said, let's get out of here. Things
Let's
are bad.
get out of here. Things are bad. And we did. They were actually getting ready to arrest my father
Okay.
in Cuba over that whole political. And they decided, let's leave. And we did. We left from one day to another. And we came here. We came to Miami. We had distant relatives here in West Palm. And they transferred us over here and then helped us. And I've been here all my life, just about. Since
Palm Beach County,
4.
right?
Palm Beach County, yes. City of West Palm, specifically.
It's better than Miami.
Yes, I would. I'm so thankful.
I'm sorry to my few Miami friends.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Back to the city. So we leave the medical legal field. And why do we pick the city? Or
I
this
happened to
division?
randomly just apply at the city because I wanted a government job. I wanted benefits. And I thought, what better place than a government entity?
Right. So they put you in what, like the permitting and
So,
licensing?
Yes, I went. I actually took a test. We were on vacation. I'll never forget. And I get a call from the city and said, you put in an application. It was the only application I had put out. And they asked me to go in for a test, a typing test. Neyita does not type.
Still?
Still. Tommy types. So anyway, I went in for the typing test. And it was so funny because, the ringer went off. And I said, oh, gosh, I'm sure I failed. I was very slow. And the HR manager comes up to me and I said, I'm sure I didn't pass the test. And she said, wrong, you passed it because you were accurate. And therefore, that got me an
They weren't
interview.
worried about the speed. They
Weren't worried about the speed. They were worried about
No
accuracy.
typos and everything.
Correct.
All right. So they take you in, hire you.
They hired me. And
How long were you there for?
10 years
Okay.
as well.
You start learning the ins and outs of permitting and licensing.
Permitting and licensing, yes.
Start meeting probably pretty big names.
A lot of developers, businesses, and I pretty much I helped everyone. When you go into some of these places, sometimes they're not very helpful. I was always very helpful to everyone, regardless.
Yeah. You're right. Like some of the government jobs,
They're awful.
People, you can tell they don't want to be there, and it's
Nope.
kind of sad. I know they're dealing with lots of humans, and a lot of humans can be very annoying and unappreciative and impatient. But I feel like there's got to be a certain type of personality that's going to be, if you know you're going to apply for a job where you got to deal with humans and ones that are complaining, you got to be at least a little bit outgoing, a little bit more positive, right?
I was bilingual, so I just truly I helped so many people in the community, especially in the city limits. I would have people line up and wait for me because I would actually not mind translating.
Right.
Even though it was my Spanish is fluent, but I'm more of a Spanglish kind of girl. So, but I would have people come in all the time. I didn't mind taking the time to, sit there and giving them specific instructions.
Right.
And you kind of have to know a little bit of what you're doing.
Yeah, you know what you're doing, but you're taking the time to actually show you care and help them out.
Yes, and I did.
So How do you transition from that to saying, you know what, I'm going to go out on my own and start my own business?
Honestly, in 2005, we had a hurricane in October, and I fractured my foot. I felt that when I still went to work in a wheelchair. We didn't have power, I think, for like a week or two. And I ended up going to work in a wheelchair. And my supervisor at the time, she was nice, but at one point after maybe a week, she said, I think it's best if you go heal at home, because I needed a printer for myself, and I offered to buy it. And she said, no, you can't do that. I think it's best you go heal at home. So P.S., I called my surgeon and I said, they're sending me home, though I can still do all of my functions. And he said, fine. So I decided to take off 6 months. And when I went back, they were very upset with me. And they actually wrote me up. And I was devastated because I had always given 100.5% to my customers, to my job, to the city.
Right.
And when they said that, I said, oh, I can't accept that. And I gave them my notice. I had 3 kids in private school. I was making a salary of like $30,000.
Right.
And I gave them my notice, 2 weeks notice. And they asked me to please not do that. It wasn't necessary. It was a formality because I took off so much time. And I said, no, not accepted. So I had a contractor that actually asked me if I would go work for him. And, just part-time preparing permitting packages. And I did at $11 an hour. And that's how I started. Actually, I would pick up my parents every day and Tommy and the kids, and I would take them to all the different municipalities in Palm Beach County. And I would run permits for this contractor. And that's how I learned my way around with every municipality.
So you bring your kids with you, do what you can.
Leave them in the car with the parents.
Right.
And go in, do my transactions. And that's how I did it. That's how I learned.
And you build up how do you build up a customer base? Like
actually, so I was working for this contractor, and I was just doing all of his permits. I was putting his packages together. It was a window and door guy. I would go into the different municipalities, and probably about 3 months into that, I started to get calls from different friends. Hey, somebody needs a permit. And, I would start doing like owner builders. I had contractors that started to use me, and I get a call from City Place. And they were actually my first big account that I landed.
Oh, wow.
I
was back
asked,
when they were building City Place, the first
actually,
one.
it was after, because I was working at the city while they were doing City Place.
What did they need you?
They wanted to know if I was interested in doing all of the permitting and all of the monitoring of the permits and licenses within the shopping center.
So they're up and running, but now they need someone to...
And they knew me from the city.
Yeah.
So when I got that phone call, it was through a friend who was a security there, and also another sergeant that used to do some work there. And they asked me, are you interested? And I said, sure. So a VP flew in from New York, from Related, interviewed me, and said, you're hired. So that was the first account.
I've had some interviews on the podcast, and I feel this happens almost with everybody, but I always tell people, you take advantage of the people you know.
True.
And so some friend of yours reaches out and then gives you the lead for this big account.
Yes.
There are some people that just don't like that, but they must not. They're probably new business owners, or they're not business owners, but you take advantage of every connection you have and every way that people can help you out in your business, because look what it leads to.
That was the first account that I landed. And from then on, you have to understand, I was dealing with all the individual stores, restaurants.
Oh, wow. So that's just like a trickle effect.
It was yes.
And then they start referring.
And then those were also nationwide companies that, have businesses in different states. Now, I have not left the state of Florida to do any business, but I go anywhere in Florida to do permitting. We go all the way to the Panhandle, to the Keys.
You're going to be celebrating 20 years now next year, I hear?
Just about.
Nice.
Yes.
It's tough being a business owner. Now, I know, how many employees do you have?
It's only 3 of us. It's really Tommy part-time,
Mm-hmm.
my sister who's my partner, and myself.
So let's talk about family, family-oriented business. There's goods and bads in that.
Tell me about it.
We're on camera here, and we're not going to be shy, but, I want to know, what are the goods and bads of having family work with you?
Well, it's easier to turn you away when you're family. Like sometimes I'll call Vicky, I typically work 7 days a week. Vicky chooses not to.
Right.
I mean, she will if I need her to, but she's not like me. I answer my phone 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I answer my phones in the evenings. I also cater a lot to owners that, work in restaurants and they don't get off till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, they got
And I will
crazy
see
hours.
them at 10 o'clock at night.
So you take that extra effort and that extra step that you need to get that client and to make sure that
Absolutely.
they're happy and that they're going to be
Yes.
Not only a repeat client, but a referral source.
Absolutely.
Because you do no marketing.
I do.
I tried looking your mother up, and she's got a LinkedIn that she barely uses. She has no Google business page.
Nothing.
No
Word of mouth.
website, and it's unbelievable. It's very impressive. You're totally old school.
Totally
and that's
old
a good
school. Word
thing,
of mouth.
because as Tommy knows, I've got to rely on all this stuff. All my online presence has to be up to date because of these monsters that I'm competing with. And I remember this wasn't a big thing 15 years ago in my industry, online and all that. It was more who you know and networking. But you've managed to build an empire of clients and customers based on just getting out there
I'm very blessed. We are very blessed.
and networking and not even having to use,
Network
no one's
very
finding you
little.
online because
No,
you can't.
no. It's all
crazy.
word of mouth and
No desire to do that at this point, I guess?
absolutely not. No,
No?
sir. No.
Even if you knew that it would bring in.
Nope.
So do you do any networking?
Not really.
No?
No.
I saw you were part of the chamber.
Yes, but
Beaches,
not
but-
very
yeah.
active. No. I mean, I get calls.
So you're Neyita. I have a friend, Elba, in Belglade, and we call her the Queen of Belglade because she knows everybody and she helps them in various ways, mostly the Hispanic population. And you're kind of like that here. You know every one of my friends, especially my Cuban friends. You know every single one of them. So you're well connected in the Hispanic community, especially the Cuban community here, which continues to grow. So I guess you just kind of play off on that. And
I do. I have a huge, honest to God, we have a huge following because, I mean, I have people that show up to my house, and I live in the city limits, okay, that actually show up to my house 10 o'clock at night, and they're trying to bang on the window. They have an emergency, or, their emergency is, oh my gosh, I do a lot of code compliance. And when people get a violation, they panic. Some are educated and know that could be a big problem,
Right.
Because it could end up with a lien on their property. So those that do, those are the emergency ones. But we've done work with Wells Fargo, Bank United. We do Walmart, we do Macy's, and I'm going to say that everything has really come through City Place as well as Walmart.
that's awesome.
A little bit of everything, but it's only word of mouth, and people will actually contact me. It's always word of mouth. I
Yeah.
tell them I don't advertise. I've had people say, I want to give you a Google review. And I
You're
tell
like,
them,
"You can't."
You can't. I'm not, we don't advertise.
My Google review is you get me another client. Right?
Yes, absolutely. And when
Yeah.
I refer to someone, I always tell them, please, I don't want anything. Because, people, the first thing is, let me give you a percentage or let me do something for you. And I tell them, no.
Yep.
What you can do for me is do right by the client.
Yeah.
That's all that I want.
Yep.
Now, I think that's the best way.
So let's go back to family upsides. I assume loyalty.
Loyalty. I've hired staff before, 1 and 2 girls, to run permits before. Now it's pretty much online, and Vicky likes that aspect of it. So we complement each other.
Right.
She doesn't want to go to meetings. She doesn't want to do Zooms. She prefers to just be,
Like kind of on the computer.
on the computer.
Yeah, the back
And-
end.
Yes, and she does the back end, and we complement each other.
Right.
So I attend all the meetings. I do all the Zooms. If I have to, if I have a code hearing, I handle those myself.
Okay.
And it works out pretty good because we do complement each other. But loyalty is number one.
Yes. So technology, I'm sure it's changed. Back in the day, kind of like when I was a young lawyer, even before, I'd have to go to the courthouse and physically hand them paper for them to file.
Anymore.
Now, I assume everything is
Digital.
online as well, if you choose to do that.
If
People
you choose
still
to go in
I
person,
imagine.
yes, we can. If we have like an emergency notice of commencement, we'll walk it over. But we prefer not to. You can do it digital. It takes several days.
Right.
But it beats having to go park, go upstairs, wait in line. So digital works pretty good.
Are there times, though, that you find that going in is better? Like, in other words, maybe you've got people on the other side of the counter that you want to kind of develop a relationship with.
Shannon,
maybe they'll push the
I have
paper
to tell
quicker,
you, the municipalities right now, they don't want anyone in their lobby. They really don't. They prefer that you make a phone call. If I have to, I did. I have this one code case that's pretty severe. And I actually went in person to try to see one of the assistant building officials, and I went in twice. I couldn't see him. Mm-hmm. I emailed him twice, and then he responded. So I think you get more, with a phone call. And I've built relationships throughout the years.
Right.
So, I do know a lot of them inside, and I don't ask for any special favors.
Right.
I do things based on my own merits.
And they just know
if you know what you're doing and they know, I have clients that I'll send in and I'll tell them, hey, there's no need for me to go. You need to go because as an owner builder, you have to go in and show your driver's license. Mm-hmm. So some of my clients don't speak English and I'll tell them, you call me when you get there.
Right.
And then once they're there, I'll speak to them, I'll translate. And I try not to go in person. I really don't.
So you're not just trying to collect a fee from somebody. You're making sure that their issue is handled from start to finish, however you need to do it, whether you've got to be on the phone translating or in person with them on a hearing.
And they have to be
stop.
involved 100% as well. And I tell the client when I first meet them, like even before I get a retainer from them, I tell them, you have to come in and you have to meet with me. And I have a home-based administrative office. Mm-hmm. So they actually come to my home or I'll meet them at Starbucks or I have a friend's office that I can go to and use its conference room depending on how many, people it is. But pretty much they have to be hand in hand with me because I want them to know every step of the way of everything that I do.
Do you meet each person personally?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So... Okay.
Before I take a retainer, I like to have them sit in front of me so that I can tell
face
them
to
face. Yes.
Make sure you guys are going to get along.
Yes.
See, I like that too, but I'm finding now I never have anyone in here. It is quiet in this office. Nobody comes in anymore. No one wants to. I want to meet my clients. It is wild since
I like
COVID.
to meet them. I think that
I
you
agree,
have to be very clear and very transparent.
Yeah.
And I tell them because, once I get a retainer, quite honestly, and I've had people that I've said, listen, if you can't work with the way I do it, when I call you, you've got to respond.
Yeah.
Because I can't sit there and babysit.
Yeah, like you can do most of it, but there's certain things that they need to be available.
And whatever I can do, without bothering them, I do. Because that's what they're paying me for.
And you said no matter what, you work 7 days a week, no matter what it takes.
I've worked during the holidays. And if I find out that the city is working overtime, and they're there in the evenings and even during holidays, some of them have worked.
Right.
I will work as well.
Right.
Whatever it takes to get it done.
I asked about technology, but do you know if AI is taking a role in your industry at all or yet? Any idea or no?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Don't know, don't care.
No.
Huh?
I'm old school.
Yeah. As far as real estate, how did you get into that?
How did I get into that? So the first property that we purchased, my husband had a very bad fall and almost killed himself. He fell from a staircase. Mm-hmm. And we ended up with a settlement. From that settlement, we went through that money like it was water. Quite honestly. And at the end of it, my husband says, we've got to buy property. We have to. And we did. So we bought our first property cash. It's 2 units. And from there on, we had times when it wasn't rented, and it was like, oh my gosh, thank God that we didn't, finance it.
Yeah.
Thanks to that property, we started to do well. After that, we acquired a few more, and we just continued on.
So that property helped kind of catapult you
Absolutely.
to get into other ones.
Yes.
But it was smart that I know you said you blew through your money. I find that some of my clients do that.
It's very easy to do.
Yeah, you get a chunk of money and you've never had that kind of money before.
Remember, I was a city worker. I left making $30,000
Right.
a year.
So you get this.
So
nice
it was
little
very
chunk of
easy.
money.
And when I was there,
But you knew that you had to have the discipline to put some of that into something where it's going to grow.
thank God that we did. And
I remember when I had my accident, because I almost died in an accident as well. I remember I got a decent amount of money, and I said to myself, I'm buying myself a new car as a reward to myself for going through this shit and almost dying. And the rest of the money is going all into mutual funds. And then ultimately that grew enough to where I pulled it out and put it in and bought a house. And then that kind of catapulted my ability to buy a bigger house down the road and a bigger one. But that long-term mindset, that's good that you had that, even though you did
real
spend
estate
some of the
is
money.
fantastic. I mean, right now,
Now-
things are crazy.
See, you got in a long time ago.
I'm sitting
I don't know how
pretty
anyone can
now.
afford
No,
shit here.
no.
I mean, I don't think Palm Beach County, unless you're really wealthy, I don't think Palm Beach County is a place to invest anymore, in my opinion.
It's not. It's not. And, I always said if I invested, it was going to be in the city limits. I love City of West Palm. I've grown up there all my life. Unfortunately, my parents passed a couple years ago. They left us a few properties without a mortgage. So we're very blessed.
Yeah, you
we're
are.
sitting pretty, on that.
Right.
My sister and I. And I wouldn't sell them. And I tried at one point, I said to my husband, why don't we sell one of the properties, the oldest one? And he said, absolutely not. And I'm so glad I listened to him because we have tons of equity in every single one of our properties. So, we're very blessed and we try to be very smart about it. I try to teach the boys, hey, I'm getting to retirement age. You guys are going to be collecting the rent.
Right.
It's not easy.
I wanted you to talk about that because
It's not
everyone
easy.
thinks of tenants, and if you have multiple units that you're just raking in the dough, but being a landlord can be tough.
A total of 15 tenants, okay? Some of the properties are, there are several units on the property. So I think I did a head count of like 15, and it's not easy. This morning I was in the midst of a conference call, and my one tenant's calling saying, hey, somebody ran over the garbage can. It doesn't have little, wheels on it now. Can you please get it replaced? Sure. The other one will call. When are they going to come and do the landscape? It's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep pretty busy, but the money is good. And the tenants that I can serve, I prefer to rent at a lower amount and have them stay.
Lower with security, knowing that you've got the security of them not wanting to leave.
Exactly. I mean, I've had tenants that have asked me all the time, hey, do you have anything bigger? Do you have other, properties? I want you to be my landlord because I don't bother them at all. I never see any of my tenants. Honestly, I speak to them. I always take their calls. It doesn't matter what time it is. Some of them can make you crazy, but at the end of the day, you are getting good money back on your investment.
And
It's worth it.
Again, it comes down to this whole thing of being a business owner and entrepreneur. Every single person I've interviewed, and myself as well, it's 24/7. You can have
24/7.
periods of where we can go on vacations and stuff and maybe have a little bit of downtime, but it's a 24/7 job if you're going to take on that role. And I just feel, I kind of pick on the young kids, but it really is the younger kids that think this is an easy thing. And social media really makes it seem like it's easy to make money, and it's not.
It really isn't. And I have one tenant that has been with me 10 years. She makes me crazy. And every time she's needed anything, any of my tenants.
Hopefully she doesn't see this.
She would know exactly who she is.
She's proud of it.
Yes. And her and I, we do go in circles at times. However, I always appease her. And no matter when she calls and whether she's right or wrong, whatever issue she's having, I am very active. I will immediately send someone for service. Whatever it takes, I'm willing to do. And I always react immediately. I have no patience to kind of sit back and say, oh, well, maybe, the water will be better later. Because sometimes she'll say, well, I'm just having a little drip. And I'll call the plumber. Hey, I need you to go over there. Please, can you go today? The AC, with how hot it's been lately, I had an issue. I've had this lady's AC switched out twice now, within a year.
So you got to have those connections too, because you got to be able to trust these vendors to come in right away.
Yes.
Provide quick, good service, and I assume at a good price as well.
Yes, I always use the same people for all of my things.
And I'm sure that took years to get the right people.
Yes.
It's amazing hearing your story. What lessons have you learned from owning a business and from being a landlord and buying properties? What are some of the bigger takes, good and bad?
The bad is that you have to invest a lot of time, and sometimes it interferes with your family life, and it does.
Right.
And I mean that on a business level. Sometimes it could be tough. Sometimes I'm on the phone till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And my husband's not a happy camper, but he understands that that's my livelihood, our livelihood.
Plus, you said in the beginning when you started your business, you were taking them all around.
I would take them, yes.
Yeah.
So I did. I would take my parents. That way they had an outing, and so did the kids. And then we'd stop, for food or donuts or whatever. So we made it.
How long do you think, in owning your business, how many years, if it was even years, you think it took to where you could be like, all right, now I'm in a good spot where I can divvy things out to people, or I can take a vacation and not too worry? How long before you got to that level?
I have to tell you, I'm never going to get to that level.
You've never gotten to that level?
No, sir.
Well, really?
No. I am a helicopter.
Could you have gotten to, how many years do you think it was that you could have gotten to that level? No, I'm saying take away the controlling, because you do have Vicky and you have Tommy.
I do, but what I do, it has to be me. Especially code cases, that has to be me. Permitting can be Tommy and can be Vicky.
Right.
But when it comes to code cases, and I do have a huge side of my business that is code compliance, that has to be me. I know how it works.
Right.
And how it's done most efficiently.
You know best how, yes.
Yes, so that has to be me. So therefore, I'm never going to feel at ease saying, well, Tommy, handle this aspect of it. I just can't do it.
Right.
It has to be me.
Well, you see, folks, most of the people on my interviews said it took them a few years before they could do vacations and divvy out responsibilities, but sometimes it's not possible. But you do live a good life. Oh, you travel.
I play as hard as I work.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
And as you should, rightfully so.
Yes. And I answer my phone when I travel.
Yeah.
And everyone knows.
You got.
I like Vegas.
Yep.
And I still pick up my phone.
Yeah, you travel a lot. You enjoy it as you should.
I do.
You spend time with your family, even if I guess you are on the phone for stuff.
Yes, I do. Family's first.
I wish the audience could see her three boys.
They're gentle giants. Yes, but they are
She is
gentlemen.
tiny. And then Tommy, how tall is Tommy? How tall are you? Huh? 6'7". And then the twins are how tall?
6'6".
6'6".
Yes.
I mean, it is so funny sometimes on social media when she's posting pictures.
But they're gentle giants.
They are. Tommy is the sweetest guy in the world. He is so awesome. I've never seen him get mad. I would hate to see him get mad. He's so
He's
big.
the same when he gets mad, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But he does have his mother's character. Don't let him kid you. He's got it in him to have a little spike,
Well, yes, family is always first, and you are enjoying the fruits of your labor.
Yes.
Somebody who wants to get into real estate investing or owning a business, what's your advice for them?
I have to say, if you want to own a business, make sure that you have a passion for what you're doing. And if you're going to buy real estate, tread lightly and be very cautious, because I have to tell you, the things that I see in real estate right now, you have to do your homework before you purchase a piece of property. Don't rely on the title company. Title company means nothing to me when they do a title search. I've dealt with so many issues that are so
You're saying you see issues that pop up later that
Absolutely.
end up in permitting stuff?
People that buy properties and have unpermitted work, and then they have to tear it down because it's non-compliant. It's very sad. So what I can say is, if you're going to do real estate, make sure you do your homework properly.
Do your due diligence.
Absolutely. Go to the municipality yourself. Don't rely on the title company.
Right.
Don't rely on the realtor. You have to do it yourself. If you want to get, if you want it to work out perfectly for you, you've got to do it yourself. You've got to be hands-on.
What about your business?
My business, if you have to know that when you're in business for yourself, you're going to have to put a lot of time in before you can actually relax. And I do. I mean, listen, I kid when I tell you I can't have somebody else, take over. But
there's certain aspects.
That I can really sit back and say, hey, get this done. Or, sub it out to someone else.
Right.
And there's certain things that I don't do in my business that I do sub out because I don't want to do them anymore. But I'll use professionals, and that's the good part.
That's a good part of.
But I still monitor what they do, and I stay involved.
Right.
So that I get a good result.
The point is, it's a lot of work.
It is.
Time that you got to put in. Sometimes for some of my friends, it's a few years before they get to that next level, and for others, it's permanent.
It's worth it.
But it is worth it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree. I always tell the story. My boss said, you have 60 days to buy me out or work for another law firm, and took the risk, went on my own, and have never looked back. And I'm glad that he put me in that position. Although back then I was scared as shit, scared of failing, still scared of failing 20 years later. But gosh, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. One of the best things in my life, becoming a business owner. I'll never work.
I have to say this. The biggest thing in my life was when the city, I felt that they pushed me when I came back in 2005. If they wouldn't have given me that little push, I would have never been on my own.
Yeah, you would have stayed with them.
I would have stayed with them, and I would probably still be making $30,000, $40,000 a year. So my biggest regret is that I didn't do it sooner.
I see that happen a lot where people get backed into a corner. And then
I felt that way.
Most of my friends, I find, including myself, I'm like, I'm only not even 3 years out as a lawyer. How the hell am I going to do this? And I never would have gone on my own unless I was forced to.
Yes, I felt like I was
It's
forced.
funny, once you get backed into a corner, then you figure out how to fight and how to make it happen if you really want to. And that's the difference in business owners, entrepreneurs who are successful, and then people who want to work a 9-to-5, which is nothing wrong with that at all. That was me for a long time. I was a 9-to-5er, and I was happy with that.
I think I would get bored if I did 9-to-5.
I now, seeing where we're at, we would get bored with it. Yes. But back then, we didn't know we would be bored, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, when I first left the city, I have to tell you, my 12 o'clock would come around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all this free time. I can take a lunch for as long as I want. Yep. I wasn't used to it.
The time freedom is great.
I've been working since I'm 15.
But isn't it nice? People don't equate time is worth more than money, especially as we're getting older, right?
Yes, it is.
There's always the people that I'm going to take a flight to Miami because it's $150 cheaper than PBI. Well, you're going to drive an hour to Miami. You're going to pay for a lot more expensive parking, and then you're going to have to drive another hour back.
Yes.
What is that time worth to you? And
time
there's
is
a lot
priceless.
of people that aren't business owners can't convey that. And time is a precious thing. Like I said, especially as we're getting older.
Yes.
People are dying.
Yes. Very sad.
I've lost my father and stepfather, so time's a big deal. For you, How do you get your drive? Where does this come from to do all this stuff, to run these businesses and to continue to do it?
I get bored. I have to be on my feet. I get up every morning at 6 a.m. and I don't have to. And I get up at 6 a.m. and I do whatever I need to do. And sometimes I'm on the phone at 5 a.m. If I have a client that's flying in and says, Neyita, I have a whole day booked, I will actually work at 5 a.m.
Well, let me ask you, is that something that's in you?
It's in
that
me.
You learned? I have friends who are immigrants that came from other countries, and they have the immigrant mentality where they come to America and they just take full advantage of it and make them success of themselves. Do you think any of that had to do with you coming from another country and your parents?
What I saw
struggling?
my parents go through, struggling with the language, what my parents went through was pretty terrible. And my parents used to hold 4 and 5 jobs.
Right.
And thanks to them, I think that I am who I am today.
Cool. Where do you see your business heading in the next few years? Do you plan on expanding, going to other states? I mean, you and I have talked about exit plans.
Yeah.
I've
I've thought about other states, but honestly, what I know is Florida. I love what I do. I do, like I said, a lot of the code compliance, and I will do it anywhere in Florida. I've thought of expanding, but I have crazy thoughts. Sometimes I want to, and sometimes I don't.
Right.
I want to continue to play as hard as I work. And if I expand, I'm not going to really be able to do that. And at my age, I just think that I'm kind of ready to start relaxing a little bit.
More humans plus more humans is more problems.
Want to travel
sometimes.
A little bit.
Final wisdom for somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. What do they got to do? What do they need to know?
Well, the first thing they have to know is that they have to be honest with their clients and their business. I see a lot of tricksters out there. I really do. In every aspect.
Short-term thinking. There's short-term thinking. I'm going to get the money from them now.
I'm going to get the money and then I'm going to walk away.
Take care of them.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to be true to what you do, and you have to do it from your heart.
And that's the difference.
Absolutely.
People who want to get a hold of you, whether they want to hire you for your services or just reach out and talk to you about, hey, can you help me? I have business questions. How do people get a hold of you?
Myself.
Obviously, they can't go to the website.
No website. They can text me or they can call me. But if they text me, I will respond immediately. If
What's
they
your
call
phone
me,
number?
561-856-6655.
Awesome. All right, my friend. This was fun. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
She was a little nervous, she was saying, but everyone is when they come in here for some reason with the camera staring at them. But this went well. This was fun. And again, I just love talking about business.
Thank you.
Making money,
Absolutely.
The ups, the downs, the sacrifices. I want people to learn from this and from people like yourself. And I have so many wonderful friends in Palm Beach County that are doing great things, and you're doing something that I don't know anyone else that does it, and you do it well. So thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Shannon. Thank you.